I bought the official Five Nights at Freddy's How to Draw art book for $10, and in this video I'm going to see if I can learn how to draw FNAF like a pro. I'll be following along with each step to see if these how to draw art books actually work. Then I'll draw in my style so you can see how different the art process can be and compare the two. I received this mysterious package in the mail, and when I opened it, I found this disturbing message. Beneath it lay JAZZA'S new Pro Sketch Pack, which I'm going to be utilising a bunch of the supplies inside for this video. I'll be working in my old sketchbook, which I'm still trying to fill, one page at a time. If you'd like to learn more about what's in this art box, go check out JAZZA'S channel. The first tutorial I'll be following is how to draw Freddy Fazbear. The book shows me how to draw the light framework to get the pose and stance right, and to then block it out from there, adding simple shapes which you later refine throughout the sketching process. And when you're happy with that, you move into the inking to finalise the line work. I've decided to go back in and add more texture to the line work to rough him up a little bit and add more interest, and then I've added some colour using a handful of markers from JAZZA'S art box. I'm keeping it super simple. I'm literally just using 2 warm greys, 2 cool greys, and very sparingly a true black marker if I need it. There's also a green, blue, and red colour pencil, which I'll be utilising throughout this video to add some pops of colour, finishing it all up with an opaque white marker for the final highlights. Now that you've seen how the book guides you through each step of the process in a neat tutorial, you're going to see how I actually sketch. Jumping straight in, no cylinders and boxes, I just sketch and hope for the best. All I want to illustrate is that there are many different ways to go about drawing. There's no correct way, you just have to find out what works for you. Keep an open mind and always try to keep learning. For the keen-eyed, you'll notice this is not the usual Freddy I'm sketching here. This is in fact from the fan-made FNAF game called Juniors. I thought it'd be fun to draw the regular FNAF animatronics while following the book's tutorials, and then draw their slightly bizarre and twisted Juniors version when I sketch them myself. You'll have to let me know in the comments which version you prefer. Up next, I'll be following the Balloon Boy tutorial, which starts out much the same as the previous one, sketching in the framework and building up the circular shapes on top of that to hopefully get the right proportions. This can be helpful, but feels a little bit unnatural to me. But maybe that's just my lack of experience with drawing in this style. I am no expert when it comes to drawing anatomy and dynamic poses, so I have a lot to learn from this style of drawing, getting the framework right and drawing on top of that. If you enjoy horror art and would like to follow my artistic journey, definitely subscribe to the channel. I've got a lot of creepy drawings planned, and that way you won't miss out on the next upload. For this sketch, I wanted to put JAZZA'S inking pens through their paces. That means lots of line work and cross-hatching to create an old, weathered, textured feel. This is probably one of my favourite ways of sketching. It can be quite time-consuming, but I personally find it really satisfying and cathartic when I just get in the zone, don't think too far ahead about what I'm doing, and just chip away at the sketch, bit by bit. Quite literally for this drawing. Look at his cracked head. Poor little dude. The more detail you put in during the line work stage, the less you have to do when it comes to colouring. I want to feature the hard work I've already put in, not take away from it, so minimal colouring is required. Or if you're a glutton for punishment, you can go all out in every stage and put in all the detail you can muster. It's all a bit of a balancing act, how much time and effort you want to put into each drawing, but personally, if I'm drawing in a sketchbook, I give myself permission to be a bit looser and carefree with each drawing. I don't have to go all out and spend hours and hours adding little details that mildly improve the final result. I have to admit, I do find it hard to put the pen down. I get that urge to just keep adding details, but I have to remind myself, this is a sketchbook, not a fancy drawing I'm trying to hang up in an art gallery. That'd have to be one creepy art gallery to feature my drawings. Next up, I'll be following the Chica tutorial. I'm curious if any of you guys have tried out these how to draw books before, and what your experience is with them. Did you find them helpful? Did you find some of the stages just didn't really make sense? I think I haven't had much success with these styles of books in the past. Even though they show you the simple shapes to use, if you're not careful, it is still really easy to get the proportions completely wrong, and they might not look wrong at the start because you've just drawn a stick figure, but as you start adding the layers to it and it starts bulking out, you realise you may have misjudged the proportions, and it all started from that little stick figure. That happened to me a lot in this video, but I wanted to stick with the tutorial regardless. For this Junior's Chica sketch, I wanted to try out JAZZA'S new brush pen. It's a really versatile pen. You can get super thick lines and also pretty fine lines as well, and it has a lot of control. It's nice and firm, and I was pleasantly surprised. In fact, all the inking pens in this set and markers worked really well. I'm not sponsored to say this, I wasn't paid or anything, JAZZA just sent me through this art box, no strings attached, and that's my thoughts on it. I still love Copics, that's never gonna change, but if you want to try out some different art supplies, check out JAZZA'S channel to find out more about this art box. I'm a firm believer that you can create amazing art with pretty much any art supplies. I don't think you should be tied to one brand, or feel like you have to use the same brand as artists you look up to. Try different supplies within your price range and find out what you like. Nightmare Bonnie is the next tutorial I'll be trying. I've worked my way a little bit through the book, so things are getting slightly more detailed. There's a couple more steps involved in this one, so it's going to be a challenge. Maybe I'm a little bit critical on these how to draw books, but I have to give credit to this one. It has a nice variety of drawings, the steps are laid out pretty clearly. I don't necessarily agree with each step that's taken, some seem a bit unnecessary or unnatural to me, but at least it clearly shows a bunch of the steps involved with getting the final line work. I remember a bunch of how to draw art books from when I was younger that would show a handful of steps going from a sketch to like a really detailed finished artwork, and you had no idea how it got from step 2 to step 3 because it barely showed anything. It just showed a couple of progress photos and maybe a tiny description telling you to add shading. Needless to say, a lot of those books were more discouraging than anything because you would try to follow along but it just seemed impossible. I'll be the first to admit, I don't know how to teach art and explain things in a cohesive way to new artists, which is really helpful. That's why I don't make tutorials. But I do hope by sharing these videos, they're fun to watch, they provide some inspiration, and maybe encourage some of you guys to pick up the pencil again and get a little bit creative. Or just sit back and relax and watch me draw some creepy stuff. That's completely fine too. Speaking of which, this Junior's style Bonnie is coming along nicely. I wanted to showcase in this video that you can do quite a lot with minimal art supplies. It's a great way to take the pressure off. I don't have to worry about what colours I'm going to use. I've only got cool greys or warm greys and 3 coloured pencils. Twisted Foxy is the final tutorial I'll be following in this video. And this version of Foxy is not looking very happy at all. In fact, the further I've gotten into this how to draw book, the creepier the animatronics have gotten. And Foxy is one animatronic I would not want to come face to face with. Or hook to face with, more accurately. I think if I had to get eaten by one animatronic, it'd be fitting that it was Chica. I mean, I've eaten a lot of chicken in my time, so it only seems fair that if I was to get eaten by something, it would be a bloodthirsty animatronic chicken, finally getting the sweet taste of revenge for all its fried brethren. How poetic. After I add the shading and some final pencil work and highlights, can't forget those. I want to know which drawing was your favourite from this video, which was your favourite tutorial drawing, and also, which is your favourite Junior's sketch version. Personally, my favourite drawing of the video is the one you're about to watch right now, Lucky Last. I think I learnt a lot from the previous drawings and applied it all in this final sketch. Hopefully you enjoy how it turns out, and if you do enjoy horror videos like this, definitely subscribe. I've got some really fun / horrific art videos planned, which I'll keep a secret for now, but if you subscribe, you won't miss out when I upload them next. And let me know if you'd like me to tackle another one of these how to draw art books. There's so many different style ones out there. I'm already imagining what I could do with a how to draw manga book. But I think I'm getting ahead of myself. That's for a future video. It's time that I stop foxying around and finish off this drawing. Can we just take a second to appreciate what you can do with just one coloured pencil? Adding the orange glow in the background really stepped this drawing up and made it look awesome. Is it fire? Is it magic? I don't know. And I don't care. If it makes the drawing look better, I'll add it. And speaking of things you need to add to your drawings, the white highlights. How can you forget? And that brings us to the end of another drawing video. Thank you to my amazing patrons for supporting my channel. You're all awesome, and I'll catch you all in the next drawing video. Bye.